All right, we're about what? 15 minutes early, 13 minutes early, whatever.
12:44.
So, what's going on, guys?
Not much.
Same old, same old.
So I can't show this on camera because of YouTube's policies, but I got something in the mail today.
Oh yeah, what you get?
Well, it's wrapped in cosmoline and a paper towel, and it's the winter trigger for an M1 Garand.
All right, cool.
Nice.
But it's in lots of cosmoline, so what I'm probably going to have to do is get some mineral spirits out, soak it in mineral spirits for a little while, and then just douse it in boiling hot water, then oil it. Because it's caked on here.
Wow, they sure caking that stuff, do they?
It's probably been like all the parker racing on it is in great condition, so it's probably been sitting in a vat of cosmoline for the last 50 years, 60 years probably.
Wow,
mid 50s probably. So. Anyways, so I can't show it on camera, but I can bring up an image of it, so I'll just do that.
That'll work.
Here, let me see that screen share and that'll work. All right, you see that thing that's on the that's basically hanging off the trigger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, it connects to a hole on the rear of the trigger guard, and all you do is if you're wearing gloves during the winter, you would attach this and just pull the trigger from behind there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I was like, wow, you got a hyperfire trigger.
yeah, it's got a spring on it and everything.
Cool.
But no, it's a part for it. So,
Awesome.
Hey, now I can show stuff like this because this is just showing a picture. There's no hands on this. So,
yeah, that works.
anyways, that's what I got, and I got to get the cosmoline off of it, and then have fun. Also, AWAG, you got to get with Smitty, and you guys need to come down. We need to play with the M1.
Right.
I've got a bunch of surplus.
Ooh.
Is it just me, or does it seem like it would be way cheaper and feasible to just make an oversized trigger guard?
For what?
The Garand.
It would be, but that's not how it went. That's not what happened, unfortunately.
Seems like it would be far safer as well.
Yeah, I know. You're preaching to the choir, man. You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
I love it, though. Just for all those reasons. They're like, it could be safer, cheaper, makes more sense. But this is World War II, and we're here to fuck shit up.
Actually, the trigger...
Is this PG-13 again?
Yes.
Whoops.
They did they made the winter trigger back in the 50s, so I think it was like 52.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that late.
Yeah.
It's like the trigger guard in an AR. It's that flat little piece of metal and plastic or whatever. And now you can get those extended You know, like so in case you're wearing gloves and stuff like that, you know, just more rounded out. It's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that better.
Yeah, the winter triggers were designed to be used on the M1 Garands during the Korean War.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Because the soldiers couldn't get their, because when it got cold there when they were fighting, the soldiers couldn't get their fingers in the trigger guard because of the gloves they were using to keep their hands warm. So they came up with the winter trigger to alleviate that. So
yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, you could even be wearing mittens, and not even wearing, regular gloves, and could probably still fire that gun with that trigger.
I mean, I don't think I'd ever want to use it on the rifle, but I got it just for, appearance's sake.
Yeah,
I'll
like
give
probably.
you $1. Sorry, George. What?
No, I meant to say, it's part of the accessories, like the bayonet and all that stuff.
Oh, I've already got a repro bayonet. The full size World War I one, not the cut down one, or the other one, the short one that was issued. I've got the World War I bayonet that you could mount on the M1. It mounts and it works.
Wow.
But it makes the whole basically, if you run out of ammo and you have to use that huge ass bayonet, you basically are carrying a spear at that point.
Yeah. You got some reach.
Just because of how long that blade is.
So here's a good story. Years ago, when I was just a young Guns and Barbecue, just a little lad, we're out.
When was that?
I guess it would have been about 24 years ago.
Oh my God, a young Guns and Barbecue.
Yeah. But the entire family's out just planking around and stuff, and my uncle is shooting the SKS and keeps missing the bullseye. So he says, "We all clear?" And everybody's like, "Yeah." And he flips out the bayonet and goes charging at the target. Still missed the bullseye.
I can hit the bullseye.
That's cool.
I can hit the bullseye. But that also reminds me of a funny joke. Did you guys ever see the episode of Monty Python's Flying Circus where the guy is traveling around Europe and then he gets detained by the Soviet Russia, and they're trying to execute him for being a spy and whatnot, and then they come in here and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna try again this time, but we're not so sure, so we're gonna ask you. We're looking down the front sight to shoot you," and he's like, No. The guy who's supposed to be executed says, No. You got to look through the rear sight first.
No,
and then they did that, and they still couldn't hit him. Yeah, that was the whole joke. But if you look on YouTube for it, you can find it. But it's hilarious. But I was amused.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to look for it and see if you find it. Let's check it out.
Two Live Moo says back when he was a Guns and BBQ. Wow.
Why isn't Moo in here?
I don't know. I sent him a link. Moo's being calloused.
Come on, Moo, get in here.
Yeah. Moo's being callous towards us.
Yeah, to refresh the screen, I was like, there's not too many people in here. What the heck? Only like two or three, and then all of a sudden I said, when you said Moo, I was like, where? And I said, got to refresh the screen.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with it. Remember, guys, if you're not out commenting, we don't know you're there, so go ahead and make a comment out there. So, all right. What else is going on? I was watching the confirmation hearings with Budget today as I was working, and
How'd that go?
Yeah, I kind of want to hit myself with a hammer.
I think
Ouch.
Amy Coney Barrett's handling herself amazing through these,
Yeah.
but
Yes, but it's the other side.
That's what I was about to say. Everything she's getting grilled on, which really isn't even them grilling her. It's just them like, we're concerned about this, and we're going to sit here and talk for 10 minutes and give this elaborate speech and be like, what do you think? And then she's like, well, I'm just going to uphold, prior court's decisions. I'm not here to rewrite books.
Right. But it's just ridiculous. It is flat out ridiculous.
Yep. So is everybody following Guns and Barbecue official IG on Instagram?
But you got an Instagram?
Yeah.
How didn't I know this?
I think I do. I think I am. If I remember correctly, I did see you on there, and I clicked follow.
If everything goes according to plan tomorrow, I should be showcasing my new firearm on it.
Cool.
Yes.
I haven't seen him in a while. Black Bear Fortress out there. What's going on, buddy? Haven't seen you in a while. How you been doing? So, we got a couple people out there. Guns and Barbecue's angry that I didn't say anything. That's how it is. Either that or you pressed the wrong button. Who else we got out there? We got Scott, P79. We got Mystic Guns. She's got a link if she wants to jump in.
Moo isn't drunk enough to join for the panel.
We got Tennessee Gun Guy. We got Snake Doctor 78 out there. We got G23. No, I'm not saying your whole name tonight. Get over it. I'm even wearing a shirt that says "Get over it." Two Live Moos out there. He's mooing up a storm. Black Bear Forks out there. Clinton is out there. Well, good, Black Bear Forge. Good. You'll have to come on sometime and tell us how the course is going. So. That's about all the people that's out there right now. So. No stones if you don't at Night Strike. Well, I never get stones anyways, so I'll just have to, cry myself to sleep. Just cry myself to sleep. So what you been up to, George?
Not much. Just doing stuff around the house. Playing some video games when I can.
Right.
Mostly try to keep busy.
Let me
wind down.
Let me ask you this: since you play video games as well, and you're around my age, maybe you might be probably a couple of years older than me. Actually, you're probably closer towards Matt's age. But what games are you interested in?
I like to play first fighter shooters, flight simulators. Not so much into racing, but I can play. It depends on the game, but I maybe play that. But I'm playing on old technology right now. Back in the day, we used to have the Atari, 2600, when it first, was available.
I still got one buried away somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, my mom threw ours away many years ago. Um, I want to say at least 10 years ago, maybe. Say this thing doesn't work. This thing is so. We could probably get another one. One day weren't around, just got thrown away. It's like, oh, And then we got the Super Nintendo. Okay, I mean, no, regular Nintendo first, and it was good. It was good. We're getting games and stuff for it and stuff. Everybody getting the Mortal Kombat and all that, those games.
Yeah, I had a Nintendo. We moved. I couldn't find the box, so eventually I went to a Goodwill and they had a Nintendo and a couple games for sale, so I got that for like $20. This was like 10, 15 years ago. Okay, so it's not that long ago. But as soon as I got that and we moved again, guess what? I found the other Nintendo with all my games. And cool. I found the power pad that I had that that was still in its box.
Oh wow, the power pad! I remember that.
But I'm gonna have to order a new one. I know it's gonna cost me an arm and a leg, but I can't find my power glove.
Oh man, that would be awesome to still have it working.
Yeah, mine was still working, but I can't find it. It was not in the NES stuff, so it might have gotten thrown away.
Yeah. Yeah, then later we got the Super NES, and we're like, oh, cool,
Yep, I got one of those too.
Games. But after that, it was just like.
After I got the SNES, I actually got a Genesis, and I liked the Genesis more than I liked the SNES.
Oh yeah, the Genesis was a little more graphic, and the games were a little bit more better. Played and more popular too. Excited like, unless you were a Super Mario fan, that's the only you would stick to that.
Here's the thing, I have and I still have it of the Sega CD add-on, and I've got the 32X adapter.
Oh wow!
I got the whole kit and caboodle. I didn't go. What was the one after it? The Saturn?
Yeah, Sega Saturn.
Yeah, I didn't get the Saturn. I got a Dreamcast though.
Dreamcast. I remember a friend of mine had put one on layaway. He was all like, "I can't believe I put one on layaway. Awesome, dude!" It's like, cool, man.
I've also got a PlayStation, and I've got a PS2, and that's about as far as I went. I got a Nintendo Wii. I still have that. But I didn't buy any more consoles after that because because right after I got the Dreamcast, I got heavily invested in PC gaming, and I just kept on upgrading a computer. I just kept with it. So some of the guys are out there comment saying, Clint says I had to give up on PlayStation because I became a hardcore Madden junkie. Yeah, I had a couple friends that like that. I would go over and hang out with my friends, and we'd play Madden. Okay, we would play Madden. We'd also play a ton of other games because, when the PS2 was out, there was one of the big games was Grand Theft Auto 3 for a while. You remember Grand Theft Auto 3, right?
Grand Theft Auto, yeah.
Yeah. So we would take turns playing Grand Theft Auto 3 because there was a code that you could put in to where you could get the Rhino tank. And then there was also you could use it with the flying car code, and you could literally just keep shooting. You turn the turret behind to the rear of the tank and keep shooting it, and you could literally just fly around the map with the tank.
Oh man, that's the thing that makes video games real cool when you get and you can find the hidden features. We
did stuff like that.
The codes and stuff.
And I promise we're just talking about crap. We're gonna start the show in a few minutes, but we're just doing the pre-chat. So don't worry, we're getting to it. So we're winding down. But again,
it's not a geek chat. It's just an intermission.
It's a retro gaming chat. But not too long ago, I think it's last year, me and my brother got one of those arcade cabinets that we put together, one of the arcade one-up ones. It's got 1944. It's got, I think it's like Streets of Rage no, it's Final Fight. It's Final Fight, and it's got Strider.
Oh wow.
It's also got Ghosts and Goblins.
Ghosts and Goblins. Yeah. Then after the Super NES, that was it for my mom. She's like, yeah, all this Xbox coming out and PlayStation. If you guys want it, you guys gonna have to get your own. So that was the end of an era for us.
I bought all my Sega accessories and stuff. I bought the Dreamcast, and I bought the PlayStation and PlayStation 2 and the Wii. So, I paid for all those. But the Super Nintendo my parents got me. The Nintendo my grandparents got me, and then I bought the other Nintendo. So I've got 2 working NESs right now.
Really? Hey, I have that small one, that one that used a Raspberry Pi. I remember you were putting it together.
Yeah, did you see? Did you watch the videos? I did the videos. I never did a video on showing it running because there was one problem: copyrights.
Yeah.
Nintendo still owns the copyright for all of the NES stuff, so I can't show me using it. I can probably show a video of turning it on, but I can't do anything other than turning the device on. I can't play any games because copyright. I wanted to.
You wouldn't be able to play the sound either because hearing the sounds would have been copyright as well. So I just decided to stop it right there. Yeah, because I remember seeing the videos that you were building it, and then it was like, okay, you got this part. Okay, put it together. And it goes, next time, the next video is going to be playing. And I was like, okay. And then a week passed, another week passed. It's like, I guess you didn't make his video. And I never asked you. I was like, what happened? I was
no, you guys can't ask me. It's just, I did actually make the video, but when I tried to upload it, YouTube, before I had it as unlisted. And YouTube struck me down several times saying you've got copyrighted videos, you got copyrighted music in it, and you got copyrighted this and that in it.
Wow.
So, yeah, I got struck down really hard. So I decided to just delete the video and not release it because it was it's not good. So
yeah. So the only systems I'm playing right now is I got the N64 that I got off from a friend of mine for $40. He was trying to get rid of it. He's like, I try to get rid of clutter, man. Are you interested? He goes, yeah, sure. He even had that the little Nintendo, like the one that you put together, but it was like complete, in a box. And I said, yeah, I'll buy that. I just need to get an HDMI cable so I can connect it, and one of those little phone charger plugs, so adapters. And I think it has like 60 games or something. I can't remember this. Yeah. There's another one that has more.
Yeah,
it has like almost all the games.
I've got the NES Mini that the Nintendo released. I've got the SNES one too. I don't know if I did a video on the SNES one. I'll do one later if I did.
Yeah.
I've also I haven't unboxed it yet. And I haven't done anything with it, but I've got the Sega Mini too.
Sega Mini, cool.
Yeah, I gotta unbox that. And I gotta do a video on that, so I'm gonna work on that later.
Yeah.
But all right, so we're done with geek chat / just retro chat. So I want to thank everyone for standing by with us and letting us gab on a little bit about that. So welcome all hit or miss. I'm your host Night Strike. I've got a couple people on the panel tonight. I've got like 37 invites out, and I only had 2 people show up. Nighthawk Medic was here, but then he had to go watch TV. So whether he comes back or not, that's up to him. Moo is snubbing us because he's in the hospital. He can't be his chipper cow self. So you mess with the bull, you get the horns, that kind of thing. So with that, I'll introduce the people I have. And we'll go from there. We may go over the topics that we have. We may not even may not. Yes. Blades of Steel was on the NES, Clint. I've got Blades of Steel. I've got the original cartridge. So anyways, moving on. My panelists tonight are AWAG 1000. What's going on, AWAG? Live from South Carolina. AWAG.
How you doing? Sorry, I knocked my headphones off my ears.
Yeah, but
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it every time. Sorry you haven't seen much of me lately. Let's just say I migrated south.
yeah, further south than he ever thought he'd go.
Nonsense. Next stop, Cuba. I'm joking.
I was like, Mexico?
Yeah.
What? It's not
Next
right
stop,
over there.
Cuba. And if that's not far enough south, the Falklands.
Antarctica.
Antarctica, right?
We're gonna found the first country on Antarctica. Actually, that would kind of suck. No, we're not going to do that.
You get to see the whales.
What are you talking about? That'd be great. It'd be like your own I mean, if you could brave the cold, which I'm pretty sure you can, you'll be able to own whatever you want. Just be like, yo, this is our land now. It's like, what are you going to do? We got machine guns.
These are our laws.
Yeah.
You just write them on your own book, and there you go. There you go. This is the law of my land.
AWAG's Antarctica.
Yeah, but
There you go.
we would probably get in trouble with a couple countries because they've staked claims in certain parts of our Antarctica, and so is the United States. And I got to be honest, I don't think we can take on the Russian military.
That is a good point.
I mean, granted, yes, we're in Antarctica, but remember the old adage, do not attack Russia during the winter? So, yeah, that would be a bad idea. But hey, it'd be fun. I got you there. So, also, we've got Jorge Cortez, George Cortez. Everyone knows George.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for the invite.
I mean, you're also South Texas AR guy?
Yep, I'm also South Texas AR guy on Instagram, and you can check me out there. Getting to know it a lot better now, so hopefully I'll be posting more pictures and stuff like that. So yeah, you can check me out on there.
And eventually you'll have a South Texas AR guy YouTube channel.
There we go. That too.
Eventually. But yeah. So other things we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to go over the first one. It's not going to be very, very long, but we're going to go over this because it was breaking news during budget show this evening. Because we were watching the hearings for Amy Coney Barrett. Is that right? I have no idea how to say her name. Let me make sure that's right because I don't want to get yelled at for oh, you didn't say her name right. Amy Coney Barrett. There we go. Okay, so we were watching the hearings for it. It really was just a bunch of the Democrats grandstanding how they don't support, a nomination this soon. How we like to talk, and we need to waste 30 minutes of your time giving you a speech that has nothing to do with a question. All that great grandstanding and dog and pony show that they normally give to a candidate they don't like. But they can't get her on anything that she's done wrong because she's Catholic, and you've also noticed they haven't put they kind of pushed today during the hearings on the whole Catholic thing, but they haven't pushed too far. I mean, they've only gone after the abortion stuff, and that's all that they're going to go after because they realize that if they push too far with the whole Catholic thing, that she can throw back at them and say, well, you elect, John F. Kennedy was Catholic and he was president. So what's the problem with a Catholic? And they don't want to have to answer that kind of question. I'll tell you right now, they don't want to have to answer that kind of question because that opens a whole bag of worms that they don't want to deal with. That's just my opinion, obviously, but yeah, she made them look like idiots today. And just FYI, if they have a D in front of their name and they're serving in some form or capacity in the government as an elected official, obviously and most likely they are an idiot. So, yeah.
But these stands for dumb.
or in the old tongue AWAG, Doomkoff. It's German, by the way. So for those that don't know, the first topic we're going to just talk about this evening is it's pretty short, but we've got good news. We've got good news for Kyle Rittenhouse. Apparently, he's not going to be charged for a gun offense in the state of Illinois by Illinois prosecutors because the rifle was purchased, stored, and used in the state of Wisconsin and not in violation of Illinois law, where he would have had to have been vetted, gotten a firearm owner's identification card, and all that crazy stuff that involves getting a gun in Illinois.
Awesome. That's good news to hear.
But that's the only good news because he is still in a juvenile detention center because he's still awaiting trial because while they cannot get him for the gun charge in Illinois, they can still get him in Wisconsin and Kenosha for murder because they want, even though we've got video proof of like four or five people mobbing him and saying on camera, "Get him!" And they're armed with all sorts of blunt objects and weapons. Apparently because he shot a couple and they died. He's the one that's in prison. But none of those assholes that are still living are in prison. They're not even arrested.
Yeah, and they had like records and stuff. Felons and they
had felons.
It was a sex assault.
Two of them had felons, and two of them had handguns. So why the hell weren't they arrested on charges of being in possession of a firearm when they're disallowed?
Indeed, that's crazy. It's just, if any of us would have, been caught, if we would have had a felony on our own record and stuff, and we would have had a weapon, even though we may have not have come on video trying to attack somebody, but we would get arrested. These guys who definitely did an offense, that they could have been arrested right then and there, and they weren't. They're still walking around.
And unfortunately, with Rittenhouse, it's not a legitimate criminal prosecution. It's a political prosecution that they're trying to go after him, and they're trying to extradite him to Wisconsin for it. So, there's that. But anyways, he got through one hurdle. He's got to go through. A couple others. So, Guns and Barbecue is back, and his camera's on. You might want to turn that off.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry, my phone died earlier.
I saw an arm.
We saw an arm.
Well, that wasn't arm, boys.
Okay, that's all we need to know.
Okay, yeah. Never mind.
It's my big toe.
All right, so Amy Coney Barrett has said this. I don't know if this was today or yesterday, but she said, "I own a gun, and nonviolent felons still have Second Amendment rights." Which is her belief. And here's a caveat that I don't want to go over this entire article, but I do want to just broach the topic and just create a discussion about this, okay? Because she believes that people who committed non-violent felonies like mail fraud or white collar type crimes, not blue collar crimes, but white collar crimes, paper crimes or whatnot, something where no one got physically hurt. It was just, usually monetarily they got hurt. Okay? Those kind of crimes. George, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Are you profiling George right now? What the frick?
No. I need affirmation. So George understands what I'm talking about. So, and what she's saying, what she believes is she believes that if you have done your time and shown that you can be a productive member of society again, and you are rehabilitated, there should be no reason why you shouldn't get your Second Amendment rights back. So, and that's a caveat. Some people, even in the gun community, or even in the nationwide community, that people don't necessarily agree on, because it's honestly, if you did your time, if you've gotten out and you've actually been rehabilitated, and you have shown that you can be on the straight and narrow for a certain number of years, there should be no reason why you shouldn't be able to apply for your rights back. Okay, because look at it this way. Okay, and this is just my opinion, so don't shoot the messenger. But yes, once you've done your time, you get released from jail. That's one thing. I don't necessarily believe you should get your rights back right away. I believe that you should be able to show, like, I don't know whether it should be 1 year, 10 years. I don't know the number of years, but you should be able to show, at least for a certain length of time, that you have stayed on the straight and narrow. You haven't done anything wrong, and you're going to continue to do nothing wrong. So you should get your right. You want to get your rights back, and you should be able to get them back. I mean, am I wrong in that line of thinking?
Not at all. I
No.
say I actually take it a step further, where I think if you're walking among everybody else, that means you're not a danger to society anymore. And if you're not a danger to society, you should have all your rights back: voting rights, firearms rights, the whole nine yards.
Yeah, and if you're a repeat offender and you keep and you repeat offending violent crimes, why the hell were you released in the first place?
Exactly. And that's what I was about to say. I don't even care if they're, were a violent offender. They might have just made a bad choice. And once they're out of jail,
that could be argued on a case-by-case basis, okay? Because
and what I was going to say is, you let them out of jail, they're out on probation or parole, and you're keeping track of them in that time. They got to go meet with parole officers, probation officers, etc. And we keep a more stringent detail of how they're doing, dirty urine tests. Do they, screw up, commit another crime while they are on probation or parole? Well, then that's another thing. But if that happens, well, then, they go back to jail. It's not just a matter of, well, we're not going to give you back your rights because you messed up no, because if we're still saying that they can walk free, well, then they should have their rights back.
The whole reason of prison, originally, the idea of prison was you go to prison for doing something wrong, and in the case you did something wrong, the system would try and rehabilitate you so you don't do something wrong again once you get out.
Exactly. And even back in the early 1900s, prison systems actually had programs where you could get a college degree and things like that. They were actually setting these.
You could finish high school.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can still do that now. But I mean, a high school diploma doesn't get
some prisons still do. Some prisons still do those kind of programs. Not all of them,
they do,
but some of them do.
Still, and not only that, it's not only just it's not a GED program. It's an actual high school diploma a lot of times, which is a big deal to some. But most places, as long as you got one or the other, they really don't care, because if you don't have some sort of secondary education, you're looking at most unskilled labor positions anyways. So, but yeah, it's not about rehabilitation anymore. It's just,
it's just serving your time and then you're out.
It's a revolving door. Corrections is one of my previous professions. I love the job, but I got to see kind of the dark side of our legal system and I'm not saying our legal system's bad in any way. I think it's probably the best legal system, in the world. But there's places that it can be fixed. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
But
and we're not going to say people don't fall through the cracks even in the legal system, because it does happen.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I don't think not only after people get out these days, people are allowed to ask, "Oh, are you a convicted felon?" On one hand, I understand asking that, but on the other hand, it kind of sets these people up to get stuck in a rut when they are released, where they're turned down for jobs and things like this, where they're trying to get on their feet, but they're just kind of getting kicked down repeatedly.
And quite honestly, that's where I believe the situation where, I hate to say it, and I know people say, Night Strike, we don't need the government getting into more things. But I kind of believe that if the government is going to throw people in prison, they should also help them get jobs out when they get out. I hate to say it like that, but because it's very hard if you're a felon to get a job after you get out of prison.
Yes,
yeah, it really is.
Yeah, sometimes it's easier for some. I'll agree with you. Sometimes it's harder for others because they don't have part of it. Some might not have a high school diploma.
Yeah, let's say the high school diploma thing can play into it. What their crime was, if you were shoplifting, well, you're probably not going to get hired by Walmart. But at the same time, places got to realize people do things when they're at rock bottom, and it might not be a reflection of that person. It's just a reflection of them having to make a choice, and they went with a really bad one.
And the reason why we're bringing this up is because a Democrat that everyone hates in Illinois, Dick Durbin, grilled Barrett over her stance on this, because he's horrified that mail fraud felons can possibly get their gun rights back and take them to his peaceful hometown. And it's like, and I'm sitting here as like, quite honestly, we should hold Dick on trial and ask him, in a given year, how often would you say you actually visit your hometown and not stay in the state capital or the federal capital? Because honestly, Dick Durbin probably spends only a quarter of the year at his home, if that. Most of it is spending in Washington.
Well, the irony of that is, what just happened down in Florida? Bloomberg paid for how many felons to be able to, or I shouldn't say felons, but people that were on probation and parole and all that fun jazz, paid off their fines and stuff so they'd be able to vote. But then when somebody's saying, "Hey, these people should get their rights back," and
they're like, "No."
Yeah. And honestly, that should make people that are left-leaning and see that as an issue go, "Oh, wait a minute. The Republicans nominated a judge that is actually for this, and then Democrats are going against it."
We got a couple comments out there, but everybody seems to be on the same page. If you serve your time and you've proven that you can be a decent person again, then you should get your rights back. And I agree with that. But I also believe that that there has to be some sort of cool down time after they get released from prison to make sure that they don't repeat. You know,
I think 2 years is plenty of time where they could get out of jail, find gainful employment, keep their nose clean, meet with their parole officer, probation officer on a weekly or monthly basis, however it's set up with the courts. They get through all their drug tests and all that each month clean. I think after 2 years, I don't think that'd be unreasonable.
No. You know, it doesn't have to be 10 years. I know 10 years usually is standard to get your records expunged if you committed one felony and you know, non-violent, you know, and you can get that expunged. But again, that's one situation. But, 10 years seems a bit too long. So.
Yeah, it sure is.
Anyways, we're gonna move on from this. We went over this. We had a good discussion about this, and everyone out there on the YouTube side who has been commenting out there, you know, is pretty much on the same page with us, and I'm glad they are, and you know, I'm glad they're out here and hanging out with us. So we're gonna move on to that, and I mentioned this to Gary the other day because this literally happened the other day, but one of the Kansas State candidates that is running is Kansas Senate candidate is advocating an Australian-style gun confiscation. And it's interesting because after she went and said that, she's been kind of walking back in some of her later comments. But Republicans on Sunday circulated a video of the Democrat candidate for an open U.S. Senate seat in Kansas praising strict Australian gun laws that she said took them all away to undercut her campaign as a political moderate. Well, I'll be honest with you. If you are a Democrat and you say you're moderate, but you're for gun control, you're not a moderate. A moderate believes in the Second Amendment and believes in the right to keep and bear arms and believes in all the social programs that a Democrat would and believes in most everything else the Democrats believe in, you know, as a whole, but they believe in, you know, freedom and justice and the Second Amendment. That's a moderate. A moderate does not believe in taking away people's firearms, and when the fact is they don't, the Democrats as a whole don't trust the government and they don't trust the police, but apparently they only want the police, the government, and their security guards to have guns. And I'm not for anyone that says they want gun control when they've got an armed security team. The minute they give up their armed security team and say, I'm for getting rid of guns all across the board, even my security team, then I'll agree with them. But if they're not willing to go that extra mile, I don't want them saying shit about gun control. Because they're not saying, oh, we want to get rid of all guns because they're violent, they're dangerous, we don't want anyone to get hurt. They're not saying that. They're just saying, we want to take the guns away from the people, the poor, the middle class, and, you know, even the upper class / rich. You know, the only people that should have guns are the government and us senators and congressmen. And I hate to say it, but the Second Amendment says the right of the people. That means every able-bodied American in this damn country, the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That doesn't mean only the elite in the government should have guns. That doesn't say that. But unfortunately, because things are written down and defined, with, defined so you can read it with a magnifying glass, apparently they say that's leeway for them to add in all this legislation. So, anyways, I'm sorry I went on the rant, but
yeah, a couple of years ago, I remember I was watching TV and I was flipping to the channels, and I got DirecTV, so I'm like going through some news channels, and then the next thing I know, I hit up the Young Turks, and the main guy, can't remember his name, but he was talking about the Second Amendment, and he was saying, yeah, okay, the Second Amendment, or the way it's written out, it's very vague. I don't know what the heck. And they're saying that maybe they meant to say the right of the people, of the militia, it's actually the police department. It should be the police department. I think that's what they're talking about, that they're the ones that have the right to bear arms and stuff. And I'm kind of like, dude, what are you doing? It's like,
I mean,
you're just mixing it up.
Okay, as someone who has an ancestor and a relative that signed their goddamn name on the Declaration of Independence, let me just give you the preamble. We the people of the United States. Okay, you hear that? We the people. That meant everybody. Everybody.
Yep.
Not just that particular set of group that were enacting it and opposing, King George III. That meant everybody in the colonies. Period. And when they say the right of the people, they mean everybody, not the government. The militia is a separate option. That's why there's a semicolon there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this was so funny because he was trying to change, the amendment, it's the Second Amendment. I was like, dude, that's just crazy, I mean, this will make more sense if it was the right of the people, that the police department has the right to bear arms. And I'm like, dude, you're just changing the whole thing, it's ridiculous, man. I was just like, yeah, all right, let's change channel.
Yeah. But we've been inundated by all this crap because apparently they don't. Apparently, I guess I was the only one paying attention in civics. Apparently, I was the only goddamn one. And I know we're trying to be PG-13, but I'm kind of pissed off at the country and certain individual and certain parties in general right now. So I'm going to be a little angry right now. You're getting premium night strike.
Yeah, well, these days in school, you're not really being taught civics and history and economics and certain math and stuff like that, because now you're just taught to pass a test. The school rating test, like if the school is actually teaching you something, they're like, we got to pass this test. So we're just going to teach you what's on the test, what kind of questions are in the test and stuff. So you're learning, but you're not really learning, You're learning how to do some stuff, but you're not really the important stuff like history and stuff like that, because we're going to condemn to relive history if we're going to forget it.
And that's just it. Most of us in our circle, and even here in the gun community, we understand how government works. Okay, either a lobbyist or a senator or congressman brings a bill to the Senate or the House. Okay. And then they read the bill in either of those two parts of the government, and then they vote on it. And normally they usually vote it to go to a committee to hear it, refine it, and then it goes back to the said floor of either the House or the Senate. And once it actually gets voted on again, if it's not amended, if nothing's done to it, it gets sent to the next. So if it comes from the House, it goes to the Senate. And the Senate does the same thing. And if the Senate votes on it and votes for it, it goes to the president to get signed. Okay? That's pretty much that. Yes, I'm oversimplifying it, but it needs to be simplified because some people just don't understand how it works. That's how a bill gets made, and that's how a law gets passed. Because once the president signs it, there you go. There is occasion where a president will refuse to sign it because he doesn't believe in that law. But if they have, I believe, George, it's a 2/3 majority. If they have a 2/3 majority on it, it still becomes law. Correct?
Yeah.
So it can still become a law, and the president doesn't have to sign it. I think that happened a couple times with Obama. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's how a bill gets made and it becomes law. Okay, but yes, I'm oversimplifying, but that's pretty much how it works. And I was listening to the news this morning, and they were talking to another justice for the minor courts, and he was mentioning how nobody in this country, aside from those that actually took a civics course, they don't understand how the laws are made. They don't understand how our government works. Yes, we have a system of checks and balances where basically one part of the government is supposed to check the other part of the government to make sure they're not doing anything wrong. That's how it works. That's why we got, the judicial system, I forgot the name of the other two. But we basically have three branches of government. Judicial, the legislative, and the executive. Yes, I just looked that up because I forgot the other two. Okay? I'm not that good on the names. All right? So don't grill me on that.
It's okay. We can always Google it.
But one is supposed to check the other. Okay? And the problem is that a certain political party has literally taken over one for many, many years and had them make rulings on emotion and on situations where they had no business making rulings on because they weren't following the letter of the law as it was written. They were following somebody's heart or emotions, which is not a good way to make a decision on anything. Okay? Because the law, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, the law as written down on paper is pretty black and white because literally the ink is black and the paper's white. Sometimes it's parchment paper, so it's more yellow, but you get the point. It's clear. Unfortunately, not every justice, makes determinations on cases based off of the letter of the law. If you want an example, look at Ginsburg. Not every decision she made was based off of the letter of the law. Yeah. So people say, well, what about precedents? Yeah, sure. Precedents. There's precedents is there. I'll give you that. But precedents should not be the deciding factor over what the law says. Or am I wrong, George?
Nope.
No. So, anyways, I just wanted to. I'm sorry, I'm getting down a rabbit hole, but it was a very interesting interview with the justice this morning. And, anyways, about Kansas. Okay, I'm sorry I got off on a tangent. I apologize. It's just many things going on today that stood out. The Democrat in question in Kansas is Democrat Barbara Bollier. Her spokeswoman accused the Republican candidate Roger Marshall and his campaign of being duplicitous and highlighting that video from an October 3rd lawn chair chat, at Kansas City area park where she made that comment. Bollier's campaign released longer audio from the same event that included moments in which Bollier said she supports the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution protecting gun rights and recalled hunting with her father. Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you say that you praise strict Australian-style gun control, that means you do not support the Second Amendment. Ergo, I hate to say it, but you ain't a moderate. Sorry, you're just not. Apparently, the race appears to be close between Marshall, a two-term congressman for Western and Central Kansas, and Bollier, a Kansas City area state senator who was a lifelong moderate Republican before switching parties in late 2018. I don't think she was a moderate. I think she was a rhino, which means she was further left than moderate. So, as the GOP fights to keep its 53-47 majority in the Senate, Marshall and his supporters have attacked Bollier on issues that favor Republicans in much of the state, including gun rights. And no, the 2A is not about hunting, M. Gabriel. The 2A is about keeping arms, period. Both a 2.5-minute video clip provided to the Associated Press by the Marshall Campaign and longer audio from Bollier's show that she noted that an adult daughter lives in Australia and praised the law there that in the 1990s forced owners of 700,000 guns to sell them to the government as this amazing thing. They have no guns. They don't allow them. They just took them all away, Bollier told her audience. And you know what? It's pretty darn safe. I've actually got a friend of the family that lives on Australia, and he spends most of his time in Hong Kong because he does a lot of business there. And he said that Hong Kong, China is safer than being in Australia right now because of all the crime.
Yeah, now the criminals know that people who own homes, that they don't have any firearms. Well, they just go ahead and do what they want. They go in there and charge in, and now, and just because they don't, there's ban on guns doesn't mean that it's going to cut violence. People are still going to use knives and blunt objects and vehicles and explosives and all kinds of things they can think of, to hurt people, to steal and everything,
And that's not to say that there's not a lot of crime in China either. No, they got their fair share too. But overall, unlike Australia, China has a lot more security forces because they've got the numbers.
Yep. Because Australia, of course, is a big island and they're limited on everything. You just can't immigrate over there because it's limited population, and they got stricter laws. I wouldn't mind adopting Australian immigration laws. That would work here. That would be awesome here because we would have stricter laws, and But now these days it's like, no, let them come in. They're not criminals. They're not breaking the law just because they crossed the border in here. They want a better life. He goes, yes, if they want a better life, they can come in the right way. Not just coming here, living illegal and hiding and all this stuff, Come through the right channels. Become a citizen. Become proud to become a citizen and also be proud of the heritage that they're coming from, whatever country they're coming from. But if they're going to be a citizen here in the United States and become patriot, to the country, patriotic to the country, and they could still be proud of their heritage, like whatever country they came from, and America comes first,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
they need to come into proper channels, and this Australian gun law thing, I don't know why they always keep wanting to adopt that, it's just silly, and hopefully
New Zealand is trying to do the same thing, but they're finding out people are refusing to turn their guns in, and since they didn't register them, they don't know who has guns and who doesn't.
Yeah, no, Canada was very smart on that. They were like, yeah, register your guns and we'll let you keep them. Then all of a sudden they're like, wow, these guys own this? Gee, we can't let that happen. Let's go.
And Canada's now saying, yeah, if you own these type of guns, this list, you can't have them anymore. So you got to turn them in, or you just, don't use them anymore. And I got to tell you, just because you have it, but if you can't use what you have, what's the point in having it?
That's right. Unless you expect the country to go to war or something, civil war, a war with another country that you're being invaded, that weapon may become in handy then. But other than that, it's just going to be a huge paperweight somewhere in your house.
I mean, I wouldn't mind the United States getting some more territory out of the deal. I think we could do with having British Columbia, Alberta, and the Yukon, because that way we could make a proper highway to Alaska. Unlike the crap that the Canada. Have you seen the roads on Canada to get to Alaska? They don't even have them paved.
Nope. Some of you drive through the trucks that drive to Alaska and stuff. They're usually driving on frozen lakes.
Yeah.
They got to be careful on that. And that's why everything is so expensive, because it's harder to get over there.
It's harder to get over there. If we could
you
build
got to transport your plane.
highways, if we could build proper roads straight from the state of Washington all the way to Alaska, and not have anybody get impeded or pressured by another government because what you're hauling through is illegal and can't be sold in their country, and they don't want you bringing it in, then quite honestly, that's why I'm saying, if they get really fed up with their government and they want to, break away and join the United States, I'm all for it, because they're getting the wrong end of the deal with the Canadian government. Because apparently the Canadian government doesn't want them. But no, that's a bad idea. We shouldn't go with Monroe Doctrine policy. So
Yeah.
But that's just an opinion. Okay, it's just an opinion. I think we could do with another state or two, or just make them all one state and call it the Free State of Canada. Or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, right.
But either way,
the state of maple syrup, and maple leaf, land.
Yeah. Come up with something original. But again,
a long time ago, I used to when I used to play paintball all the time, I used to look up stuff on the internet, and there was a lot of people that played paintball in Canada. There was an actual paintball group called the Canuckastanis. Oh my God, I laughed every time I heard that name, and I was like, man, I'm glad that somebody said that they made that name and it wasn't somebody else, so that way if you talk to somebody from Canada, he says like, oh, Canuck, people don't like that. It's just, certain name, right, to call somebody. But Canuckastani, sounds even worse. But when a paintball group decided to label their team that way, I thought, okay, that's okay, because they're the ones that, they're Canadians, they're the ones that made up the name, so that's more acceptable than if it was somebody else.
Yeah. By the way, this afternoon, Sunday afternoon, as far as the Kansas candidate is concerned, she dialed back and said, "I do not support gun confiscation. I never have, and I never will. Unfortunately, the damage is too late for her." And I don't think she's going to get elected.
Yeah,
I talked to Gizzard Gary about this earlier yesterday, and he does not believe that she is going to get elected one bit. And he says she's going to put up a good fight, but that's about all she can do.
Yeah, that's all she can do, because like I said, once you post something that doesn't go in your favor, it will haunt you for the rest of your life. I mean, it could be like, say nothing happens and she gets reelected. Then later on, she could say something that maybe it was 2 or 3 years ago, and somebody will find it, a tweet, a post, an article, and they'll bring it up and they'll say, "Hey, look, what about this?" It happens to a lot to the entertainment, movie stars, TV stars, comedians, anybody, they're getting a good career going, they're getting popular, and then somebody comes out, "Well, 2 or 3 years ago, you said this about the gay community and this and that." And even though you apologized, you could say, "Hey, during that time, I was a different person. I didn't care what I said. I didn't care if I hurt your feelings and stuff, but I'm a changed person now, and I apologize." Still, it'll affect you because somebody will keep pushing, and it could destroy you. It could ruin your chances of getting up any higher, in any type of position you're at, whether you're in the entertainment, you're in the government, or any kind of job, it could be like law enforcement. You could be running for sheriff or something, and you could have said something so many years ago, and it could haunt you for the rest of your life.
Sad but true. All right, and with that, we're pretty much done. We lost AWAG. We're we're not going to go on any further. I had 2 more topics to go over, but we just don't have enough time, so we're not going to go over them. I got way too much on a rant. So with that, we'll go through the room and go from there. I gotta check something real quick, so everyone just hold on for a second. So there we go. Since people have complained about the ads, I am not monetizing this video whatsoever. So by doing that, I have to go through this and do this way. So if you'd like to support me and what I do with Hit or Miss and support the giveaways that I do and whatnot, and any videos that I do produce, I know it's kind of few and far between right now, but we'll get some more in where I'm actually working on a couple of videos. Go ahead and check out my Patreon. And if you can become a patron and help out, that's great. If you can't, don't worry about it. That's okay. I understand. But again, if you don't want to do if you don't want to commit, like with Patreon, you don't want to do monthly. If you'd rather just to do a one-time type donation, I've got a PayPal. So check that out. Also, if you like what we're doing with GunTube and you want to support GunTube, go over to the GunTube store. That's store.gumtube.org, and maybe buy some of the new patches we got on. George, have you gotten your patches yet? I guess not. So they're in the mail, but I've got patches, and I've still got about 10 or 15 more bottles of GunTube CLP. So if you want some of that, go over to store.guntube.org and buy some. Also, remember to check out guntube.org. There are a ton of videos people are posting right now that are pretty cool. So there's a lot going on over there. Also, if you want to go over there and post a couple of videos that you can't necessarily post on YouTube because of certain laws or policies, go ahead and go over there and do that. Granted, please make sure they're gun related because I can't host everybody's videos. I can only host firearm related videos because that's what GunTube does. So with that, we're going to go through the room, say goodbyes. So Guns Barbecue, you're up first.
All right. I'd just like to say thanks for having me, Night Strike. Night Strike already did all the plugging that I would do for him, with the GunTube CLP and going and buying patches and all that good stuff. So just listen to the stuff he said before I got to talking. Also, like I said, if you aren't following me on Instagram, that is Guns and BBQ official IG, because apparently everybody and their mother has some sort of Guns and BBQ name on Instagram. Go figure. And check out my YouTube channel. I put out 2 videos a week at this point. Normally, my end of the week videos are some sort of unboxing of something that I ordered from Night Strike or Gear websites or Clover Tack or something like that. And then normally on Mondays, I'm doing some sort of gun or barbecue related video.
All right. George, are you there? Are you there now?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and give us your outro, George.
Well, I'd like to say thank you for the invite. Also, as like you said, try to support GunTube as best you can, either by joining Patreon, donating by PayPal if you can, or just go to the GunTube store and order patches or, like I said, CLP oil. Any kind of help would be appreciated. There's stickers, and if you have a YouTube channel of your own, you can give that as prizes. As for sub prizes. Any kind of help will help.
Speaking of prizes, George, are you done with your plug?
Just like to say one more thing. That follow me on Instagram at South Texas AR Guy, and I appreciate the following, as I try to follow everyone as well on YouTube, who has a Instagram channel. So we'll see you there. Go ahead.
All right. Speaking of prices, I'm gonna do a giveaway right now. Okay, the first person to send me the name of my 1911 to nightstrike1@gmail.com. It has to be the proper spelling.
Hector.
Has to be the proper spelling. What I call my
42.
1911. You will get a new GunTube patch. I will give you one away for free, but you got to give me your address. So make sure to send your answer in, and if you get the answer right, I'll send you a patch. So
You named it A1, didn't you?
It is a 1911 A1.
Called it. I get the
model.
patch.
No, that's not its name. People know what I call it. So once you email me that answer, I will send you a patch.
Oh, I know, but I can't. I mean, I'm on the panel.
You've already paid me for some. I've already sent you some patches.
Yeah. I just let the people in the chat, send that info.
But we're gonna end on that note. So again, I'm gonna give another patch away on Thursday and Friday as well. So if you don't get it today, if you don't send it in and no one sends one in, I'll hold on to that patch. But it's there. So if you can tell me what the proper name with the proper spelling of my 1911 is, I'll send you a patch. And if that's too hard, we'll come up with something easier on Thursday and Friday. Okay? All right. So with that, my email's out there. We'll see you guys next week. So thank you all for listening. This was Hit or Miss.
Shut up,
Bye,
Ian
Felicia.
Shut up, be infringed.
Shut up.
Adios, Felicia.
Adios, Felicia.
Te amo,
Adios. ¿Dónde está la
Adios,
biblioteca?
Give them the bird, surfer bird. Bird is the word.
Bird. The bird is a word.
Bird.
Papa mau. Papa mau.
Yeah. And with that, what does this
ooga
button
chaka.
do?
Ooga chaka.